Alright folks, hello and welcome to another Modern stream. Modern is alive, well, and actually delightful right now. And one of the best things about the new Modern format is how some decks and some cards got virtually unbanned. When I'm saying cards, I'm talking of course about Tireless Tracker and Knight of the Reliquary, two cards that obviously are quite strong. They're very, very powerful, but cards like Udo and Omnath really kept them in check and made them virtually unplayable. So the fact that now we finally get access to basically not feel terrible, not feel like a complete underdog for registering these cards in our deck is just an incredible feeling, particularly with Knight of the Reliquary being one of my favorite cards ever printed. Also, we get to dust off some old school archetypes. So we, of course, you might remember Green-White Value Town being an actual contender in the modern metagame. This deck, of course, works with mana dorks in the early game that basically turn to ramp up all of your very, very powerful 3-drops. And the idea is to deal some damage thanks to Ghost Quarters and some mana denial plan, as well as accrue infinite amounts of value. So the idea here is we are using Knight of the Reliquary, which is probably our best turn to play, because it basically gets all of our other stuff rolling. We also have access to Corsair Crucifix to draw cards, draw lands off the top. We also get a lot of control over what the top of our deck yields, thanks to not only fetch lands, but also we can shuffle with Knight itself. We can shuffle with Stoneforge Mystic, which is a card that was not legal back when this deck was a thing. So this is a brand new addition. Same thing with Giver of Runes, which is a one-off. I'm not so sure about this card. I was considering Ranger Captain of Eos, so that's why I thought about giving Giver a chance. But then I think that we are just doing a little bit too many things with a land synergy, so I think it made sense to make sure that we have access to extra Dryads and like a couple of Roundup Excavators, Trackers in order to draw cards. I think that going a little bit harder on the whole, Ghost Quarter you out of the game with Ramina plus Dryad, or like Valakut you out of the game. I thought that I wanted to give a little bit of a stronger focus on that aspect of the game, as opposed to something like Ranger Captain and getting incremental value with like Giver and like Dorks. It just didn't seem particularly amazing. Of course, if we were playing Ranger Captain, we would also get access to stuff like potentially Hangerback Walker or Walking Ballista. So those are definitely ones to consider. Citizen Tom with the Prime sub coming back for 14 months. Thank you so much for the continued support, Tom. Landfall Companies on the menu. Indeed, all of the landfall cards. So as I was saying, this is a Dryad deck, and this being a Dryad deck actually made me think about the possibility of adding just a single Flagstones of Trocair to my deck. My reasoning was by having just the one-off Flagstones, our Knight actually gets to ramp in terms of amounts of lands in play, and then we can replay the Flagstones with the ramming app. Of course, we can make the Flagstones into a Plains or Forest with the Dryad. That's the interaction. I decided against it, and I decided to play Governing Township instead, but that is definitely something that's in the back of my mind and something that I'm going to be playing for sure. One important aspect of this is, of course, the printing of Skyclave Apparition, which basically means that we get to put the Paths to Exile, which is a card that this deck previously played in the main deck. We get to play the Paths in the sideboard because we do have access to removal, and we can find a removal off of our Collected Company. I still like to get access to the Path in the sideboard, so for the matchups like, like Prowess or Green-White Heliod, where we really want to have access to a Path to Exile, we can. We actually can, and we have access to the card. But of course, in the main deck, I like to make sure that my deck is as lean and clean as possible. The sideboard, of course, includes, besides Path and the one of Celestial Purge, we have access to basically a bunch of creatures that we can find off of Collected Company. And those like Aerial Champion against the Shadow decks, against the Burn decks, etc. Collector Oof against the other Stoneforge Mystic decks, also against Strawn and stuff like that. Scavenging Ooze against all of the graveyard strategies. Knight of Autumn against Burn and against decks with Blood Moon and stuff like that. Eidolon of Rhetoric, sorry, against decks like Storm and any kind of like spells-based deck. And Mind Sensor against Amulet, other like tutor style decks. Yeah. Of course, all of this is experimental. This was an idea that popped up in the Discord, and I kind of run with it. I think it was Big Monkey who gave the original idea, and then I kind of try to put together my own take on what I would like the deck to look like. So we're gonna see whether this works out. Maybe it doesn't, but there's only one way to figure it out. Sense seems just a little bit too slow. We're definitely there in terms of power level, but we're a little bit too slow as well, so we're gonna ship it. Yeah, this hand is also very bad, so... Okay, this is the best hand we've seen so far. We're gonna ship both of these. It's kind of cool that... Oh, that's probably bad news for us. That's a good top deck. When this deck starts with a 1-drop as opposed to when it doesn't, it really is a world of difference. Gonna path my Noble Hierarch opponent? No. Crazy. I guess now that I know what my opponent's up to, I really wish I had kept the first hand. Technically, my opponent could be playing Jeskai. I think I'm gonna play Stoneforge here. It just resolved. Okay. Gonna get a Batterskull. Basically, Batterskull means that my opponent kind of has to answer the Stoneforge Mystic. They want to trade Snapcaster for this. I'm okay with that trade. Big Butt Courser. Oh yeah. The Courser of the Crewfix variety. Come here to make mid-stage dreams reality. It's better than Disneyland. That's F. Pavlushland. Welcome, Sergio. Welcome to the land where everything is possible, as long as it includes lands. As long as it includes lands, everything is possible. I'm gonna hold on to this because if we company into a tracker, we might want to have access to the fetch. Nesagar with the Prime Sub, coming back for the 6 months. Thank you for the great content. Oh, thank you, Nesagar. Thanks for hanging out. Opponent just passed without doing anything. Interesting strat. Well, here's a Batterskull. An Erroneous Monk for the 3rd month in a row. Thank you so much, folks, for all the continued support. I think I'm actually gonna just serve with the Batterskull because we can do the trick here. Like, we just serve with the Batterskull, and with the 5 mana, we can just bounce and replay the Batterskull if my opponent answers it. So they kind of have to kill my Stoneforge Mystic. Take 5. Sounds good. Well, we also have company. We got a ton of options here. Four mana. Too bad that the Noble Hierarch means that we don't get to we don't get to kill the germ, so my opponent's gonna get to draw a card. Very unfortunate. That's kinda cute. Good afternoon, MacFast. How's it going? Timely reinforcements. Sounds good. Yeah, I'm not too big on Commander. Too competitive of a player to like Commander. Could play a land. I'm playing Knight. I kind of don't want to overextend into a Wrath, so I guess we just pass. Did keep a card on top. I could have company there, but then we run into a Wrath, so no interest in running into a Wrath. We're kind of winning as is anyway, so. 3 mana. Or not. No, not 3 mana. Land. Yes, 3 mana? No 3 mana. Yes, 3 mana. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Draw 3. Jace is problematic. I think I'm in a company here on end step. But that timely reinforcements was actually very, very good. Mana leak. Yep. Throw both of these at Jace. My opponent's probably just gonna chump. I think I need to force my opponent into Wrath in. We're not in good shape here. Definitely not in good shape. But the thing is that by putting one more body into play, I'm making it. We need a Canopy. Yeah, Canopy would be hot. Here's the Wrath. Path my Stoneforge. Tracker is probably the best option that we got here. This denies the draw step, which is nice. So we can force a forest. 1, 2, 3. Not drawing well. Not drawing well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just resolved. This puts us in a pretty awkward spot here because my opponent can now. They can Wrath at instant speed, which is is obviously pretty awful for us. Post-hybrid games, these cards are gonna come out. We're not looking great against my opponent's active planeswalkers. This was a multi 5 though. We gotta remember that mine was a multi 5 against my opponent's 7. Foretold? That's sexy. I don't think that this is the Wrath. This is probably Glimmer. So this goes to Jace, this goes to Fairy. This means that if they want to answer something, they would be answering my... So here we're going to get to resolve Tracker. We get to draw a couple of cards, which is nice. They're probably going to path the Raminap, I would assume. Okay. I think I'm not going to fetch. Okay, I guess I am going to fetch. Never mind. Let's draw a couple of cards, shall we? Just gonna get a basic planes. And now we get to draw 2 cards on end step, which is nice. The Boulder, thank you for that follow. We also get to suit up the Noble Hierarch. So that's kind of nice too. So we don't need to really overextend into this. We are technically drawing more cards than Jace the Mile Sculptor, so just saying. Just throwing that out there. Deck needs steering Wildwood. Damn. Out of all the things that I thought that I needed. Hey Scott, how's it going? What do you got for me? Another Teferi. Okay. Bounce Snappy. Fetch type constantly live. I'm watching a few. Yeah, right, Vits, and you do nice. Nice, Boulder. Well, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna take that before I just naturally draw it, because I am extremely unlucky, so that's obviously what's gonna happen. That's pretty good. It's also not bad. This even allows us to company if we get rid of the Teferi. I don't think I'm in the company main phase though. That tracker was just massive. for obvious reasons. We didn't get rid of the Teferi, so I guess I'm just gonna play a bird. Like, I don't care if it dies, and I'm just not gonna company into my opponent's mana leak mana, right? No need to. They're gonna get to cast the Glimmer of Genius here. Yeah, Behold the Multiverse. Try last week a version with Reclaim Reverse in the list, but without Bursts and Forges. It's very hard to fix the mana base for Reclaimer and put the value cards in, but it's very fun. Value is very fun. Yeah, I think that you cannot make the mana base work. Like, that's just straight up not doable. That's the way that it kind of feels to me. It feels like you just cannot make the mana base work. Just gonna send both a Tef. Tef down. All right. Blow my Valakut? Sure. Terminus. I don't think this card is very good, but I guess my opponent does. I guess I should have used the mana to bounce the Batter Skull. Just force, probably. Mm-hmm. Not bad. Hello there. We get to play around. We could just get to black my opponent's mana leaks, so there's no need for us to play into the mana leaks. So let's just don't. I think I'm okay with this exchange. They kind of have to get something going. This trucker's coming in hot. Attack! My opponent attacks. A bold move, opponent. I kind of love it. Kind of love it. Logic Knot? Damn, it is Logic Knot. There's not a one card in hand and it's not a Cryptic Command. I would like to shuffle that though. I think I'm just gonna play knight. We play around mana leak here. We don't play around second knot, but sure. Remember when I was blanking my opponent's mana leak like a couple of turns ago? Okay, what did my opponent top deck here? 4 mana. That's a pretty fucking good one to top deck. That's a pretty good one to top deck right there. We did not have 7 mana. My opponent doesn't know that this fetch doesn't get anything. Play that first in case of a cryptic command. No cryptic command. Path to accessibility. I guess this doesn't matter. Remember when I held on to this land for like 1,000,000 turns? Down with your Jays. Get it out of my sight. Out of sight. This is game 1 and we mull to 5. We mull to 5 this game. We're ahead by 3 minutes too. They kept the card on top, so that's probably bad news for us. The fairy? Not good enough. Opponent, why do you keep doing this thing? Why do you keep doing this thing when where you allow me to just deny you of a card draw? Yeah, like they had to balance the Dryad or nothing. We won on a mull to 5, having drawn like a bunch, like a shit ton of mana dorks. Feels good. Feels real good. I think I'm gonna bring in Mind Sensors just because they attack in the air. That's the only reason for the Mind Sensors. They have power and toughness. That's good enough for me. We just won game 1 on a mull to 5 on the play. No, we were on the draw. Never mind. We were on the draw, I think. Let me say that I like where this deck is going. Let me say that is a solid first game. That is a solid first game to get us started off, you know? Well, my opponent's answer is probably going to be... So even though we drew the sword here, I guess I think in Mana Leak my Stoneforge, which is kind of a problem. I think I still keep though. You have to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. Wow. Ah, that is heartbreaking. That is absolutely heartbreaking. Wow. Okay, so now this is a mull to 5 as well. Now this is another mull to 5. God damn it. That's insane. Behold has looked pretty nice for my opponent, by the way. It's okay. We have Tracker, we have Raminab. We still have value. We still have value. I'll say as much. And if my opponent taps out for Jace and we manage to find any land whatsoever, because all of our lands enter untapped, so any land whatsoever, I feel like we just win the game. There's no way that you have disenchant opponent. Don't try to trick me into thinking that you have access to a disenchant, because you don't. Oh, Valakut is tapped. You're right. You're right. Holy Motivation is your favorite card from the recent standard set. Yeah, it is. It is truly a great design. 4 mana, Hardcast Behold. Do I want to just company here? I kind of want a company. Courser Tracker. Oh, we have to be super careful with this. Okay. We have to be super careful with that one. All right, blind Terminus. Because they can't set up Terminus with Behold. So it needs to be a blind Terminus. No blind Terminus. Good for us. Colonnade. That's not bad. That is not bad. I'd even say that that's not bad at all. Cryptic tap and draw. So I can play... I think I want to draw more cards though. So I'm not going to put this Sword of Feast and Famine into play. I think I'm going to use my mana to just draw more cards. I mean, who can really fault me for wanting to draw more cards? I'm only human, chat. I'm sorry. Would like to run a poll on Blue-Eyed Mages and how good Colonnade actually is. For real, right? Hardcast Terminus, you'll love to see it. So we're gonna shuffle this away. Get a Temple Garden tapped. Get another clue. And... yeah, Ramming Up I guess is a fine card to draw here. So we're just gonna float the mana first. Float the mana. Throw everything in the bottom. And now we crack blue. One, two, three. Tracker. Fetch. 4. Forest. Ramanap. Land. Trigger. Fetch. More triggers. More clues. Let's go. My opponent can technically detention sphere exile all my clues, but Terminus Mentor combo deck. Love to see it. I'm going to actually need the mana here. So if we find the Dryad, the game just ends. I'm so fucking good, man. I'm just so good at this game. My opponent seems to be Italian. Il mazzo dei Moiracoli. Probably something about top decking. If we have anybody Italian in chat, maybe they can translate. The deck or miracles. The deck of miracles. There you go. Thank you, Luca. Ironic given what they are playing. I know, right? Technically, my opponent has more miracles than I do, so I can see the irony. Sure, let's keep this. Turn 1, Noble. Turn 2, Courser. Turns out both of us are miracles after all. I mean, my opponent doesn't know what was in my hand, right? So I could have been sandbagging that Dryad for like 5 turns. Unless they were ghosting, they should not be able to know. So I guess we have a couple of options here. I think I'm gonna go with Courser. And then we can potentially company on the following turn. Uh-oh. Well, that's devastating. For obvious reasons. We do have 24 lands. We do have 24 lands. You don't want to sacrifice a land right now, opponent, right? There's no way that you want to sack a land here. You really don't want to sack a land, so this hierarch's gonna survive. Don't. God damn it. All right, basic forest off the top. Nice and easy. Nice and easy. Damn, why? Basic forest off the top, easy. Big yikes. Big yikes there. Don't lava dart me again. Come on. Opponent, come on. Let's be reasonable here. We're 2 reasonable human beings. Don't dart me again. At least they can't flashback dart, which is funny, because they don't have a mountain. Don't dart me, bro. Don't gut shot me, bro. God damn it. Basic forest. Brutal. We want these, that one, and these. Are we really doing that? I kind of feel like we're doing this. And I'm never gonna keep a hand that has less than 2 lands. That was gross. That was gross. Reclaimer, less Reclaimer. Yeah, it's back. Yeah, maybe I should be having news just for mana curve purposes, because now my deck is mono 3-drops. I mean, some of these 2-drops are kind of messed up, so I think I'm gonna bottom that one. Do I want to play around Moon? I don't think I want to play around Moon, no. But I want to keep the fetch lands because this means that if I draw a knight, the knight is actually going to be a 4/4. Turn 2 Oreo Champ is not bad though. The only problem now is that I gave my opponent a turn to put a threat into play. The good thing is that this just blanks their threat, so. Some bad things and some good things. Boop. So this looks like Metamorphose. Hopefully they don't have Stormwing. Stormwing would be a problem. Stormwing would be a problem. Yeah, it's a Stormwing. Crap. Scar's rough. So Path to Exile is our best draw here, I think. They put 2 cards on top. Lucksuck. Absolute lucksuck. I'll block. Maze of Ith in Modern, please. For real, right? Did find both champions at least. Ugh. The second one is a problem. Especially because this one retains the power. So we really need to find a removal spell here. Apparition would be nice. There is a bad Maze of Ith. It costs like 4 mana or something. Oh, there's the one that flips. What's the name of the Maze of Ith that flips? I forgot. Labyrinth of Scopos. Yeah. That's the land. And then there's another one that it's a flip. Like it flips into a Maze of Hith. But like it's an actual card on the front. I can't remember the name of that. There we go. Thaumatic Compass. So what am I doing here? What am I fetching for? Am I just fetching for Batterskull? I think I'm fetching for Feast and Famine actually. Because even if we find any land, if my Stoneforge dies, we get to do the thing. It's possible that we just die here though. Is that actually just lethal? That may be just lethal. No, they need one more spell. That is lethal. All right. Just getting still had all these. Wow, if we had Path to Exile, we would have won here. Womp womp. That did not look great. That did not look great. The old worship trick in the sideboard. Yeah, I mean, worship pairs nicely with Oriok Champ. That part is true. That part is true. I think that worship by itself is kind of a trap, but when you pair, you're pairing it with a card like the other one. Sam? It's pretty good. Like if our Dryad doesn't die, we get to turn 2 Dryad plus Valakut, turn 3 Ramunap. This could be Ponza, so I'm just fetching for basic here. Inkmoth Nexus. Okay. Well, I guess that Heliod land drops is going to be more important, actually. Well, if we don't die, we're going to win. So there's that. I think it's just Infect. Yep. We do have lethal next turn if we don't die, so... And we died. Oh, man. Path. Eidolon is good. That's it. Guess Knight of Autumn is good against Spellskite. Probably better than Courser. This time around we're ready. This time around we're ready. Maybe not. maybe we're not ready now. So I can just force my opponent here to use a Blossoming Defense right now. Honestly, we kind of have to. We can Apparition this. This is brutal, man. I feel like I kind of have to. So I just blow up my own Valakut. Rose. There's the Boomer Township. Yep. It's been a while since I've registered this card in one of my decks. Yep. They just had it. Guess there just wasn't too much we could have done. Wait, did he just have no pump? So I think we Dryad here instead of Knight, because this means that if we Coco into Ramanap, we get to clear my opponent's board. Womp womp. That sucked. Man, we had such a great display in match number 1, and then we just got completely destroyed. Matches 2 and 3. Yeah, we still had the 2 Raminaps in the deck. I had cut the Coursers. Because obviously the life gain doesn't matter. But yeah, if I hadn't Ghost Quarter myself, I would have gotten to Dryad 1 turn earlier, and I would have gotten to Company 1 turn earlier. Ugh, Prowess again. Vomit. Sand is kind of okay against Prowess. This deck is kind of cool. It's doing some interesting stuff. gonna get Batter Skull here. Already Toskis, been watching too much Spy Squirrel Blade. Yeah, this is a different deck. They did have light up the stage, but it was just too risky to just block there, right? If they have a bolt, we just get super blown out. They kept a one lander. Awesome. Oreo Champ, Purge, Oozes, Paths. Got one drops, bringing Knight along, bringing Knight of Reliquary. We shave on Tracker. One Raminap. Guess we just cut the Raminaps. Coco. No, I mean we still have 26 creatures, and now all of our creatures are impactful, so it's fine. It is true that we did cut 8 of them, but so this hand has removal and lands. So I guess I just keep. More removal. Okay. Things looking good so far. Is my opponent going to gust me here? I think this is a fine attack. I don't think I can really get blown out. And we're gonna get the skull. La skull. Co-selects return. Okay. Kind of okay with that. So this basically makes all of their cantrips just unplayable. What's up, Common Sense? Friend and company, indeed, company. Put 2 cards on the bottom. Am I just racing here? It's kind of nice. I mean, I think that this forces the champ, and now it forces another champ on the following turn. So like, this just puts my opponent under such pressure now. And if they have a braid, which they did show me, right? If they have an abrade and they abrade this, that means that the battle skill is good to go. So like, they're just dying to the sword, and then the battle skill is just so much worse for them. So just felt like. And we were still holding a path to exile, right? And my opponent can only play a single spell, so I'm probably not even going to be killing that Stormwing entity. Like, we're just in great shape there, almost regardless of what they do. That cyber plan felt a lot better. I'm still not sold on the Giver. Giver feels kind of weird. I'm probably gonna be cutting the Giver for something else. I kind of would like for it to be a one drop though. We could put either Oriok Champ or Scavenge Genius in the main deck. We could also play Path to Exile in the main deck. How do we feel about Spellskite? Yes. Is Spellskite better than Giver? It definitely is against something like Infect, which we just faced. Same against Boggles, which I could see Boggles being a bad matchup for us. I wonder if we want access to Blast Zone. Blast Zone is another one of those cards which simply hadn't been printed by the time that this deck was a thing. Playing against Andrea. Just Rive, how is Dryad good in this deck, or is there only because you love it? I mean, if you look at the deck list, you're gonna see that there are Valakuts in there. Also, this deck used to play Azusa because of the interaction between Azusa and Ghost Quarter. Andrea says after a solid 0-2 with Amulet, I'm back to this. Sort of is the movement. Yeah, there's GQ plus Excavator, exactly. That was the combo back then. Used to play Raminap Asusai Gitrog GQ deck in Historic. Well, that's bad, because that's lethal on next turn. So I'm gonna do this main phase because we can find a Courser into Ghost Quarter to destroy my opponent's land. We can find Skyclave and we can find Raminap. So I guess we're doing Raminap plus Apparition. Oh, it's a good top deck. So next turn we get to do many things. He does get to play a ballista on 3, which is bad for us. So if he has another Heliod, we're in trouble. That's not bad. We just have to do this, right? So that we just don't just die to a Heliod or another company. All the apparitions, all the time. My opponent has his own apparitions though. Oreo champion. Does he have Heliod too? Because that would suck, because that makes their... If we find Balakut off the top... we're good. This is starting to get rough though. I'm dead to ballista anyway, so I think I'm just taking this 5. I'm dead to the walking ballista anyway. Can we find the Valakut off the top or a Courser into Valakut? Ugh. That's right, I forgot about that. God damn it. Forgot about that. If I play another Dryad, I get to fetch once more. I'll put one more land into play. I think this is worth it. Because I'm going to need all the mana that I can use. We're going to be doing some chump blocking here, obviously. And of course, we're just dead to either Spike Feeder or Ballista. We're dead to a million things here. I think that counts to the million things that we're dead to, because now that means that my opponent now has 4 lethal threats. So with 4 lethal threats, we just have to chump with 4 things. Yeah, we're just dead. Gross. Um, try ephemerate maybe with Sky Slip. No, I don't think that ephemerate. We have specifically 4 cards that ephemerate is good with. That's not worth it. That's not how you build good decks. You have to make sure that your deck's plans make sense with each other. Just because you're playing Apparition doesn't mean that you should be playing. That you should be playing Ephemerate. This hand is kind of slow, but I did cut some number of mana dorks. Man, I really wish I could find Windsweep Heaths. Because, like, these are my worst fetches. I think I'm just gonna pass. Next turn I get to destroy, effectively do the same thing that Ghost Quarter in this thing would do. Are we getting Mind Censored here? I think we're getting Mind Censored. Which I could have played around and I didn't, like an idiot. Oh, okay, never mind. Here I am definitely slamming the Knight of Bottom. Like if my opponent didn't have any, if they don't have the Mind Sensor, like this is basically value 10 that turns into Escape Shift. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. My opponent can just win out of nowhere here, though, right? But not exposing the Dryad until I'm actually getting value from it is definitely what I'm trying to do here. Skyclave, my what? My Courser? That's fine. Heyo. So my opponent, they could have cast Company there and they didn't have it. So I'm gonna guarantee that I get my value from my Dryad triggers, but I'm just gonna deploy a tracker to the battlefield because if my opponent has the answer to the Dryad, then we're actually in bad shape. And I just basically time walked myself. So by doing this, if my opponent has the answer to the Dryad, then we can still get there. We lose to Company into the nuts, which we could have played around. But I think that this was what gives me the best chance at winning. And it worked out. I don't think there's anything I want to change. This looks fine. Oh, 3 mana Stone Rain? Yeah, hell yeah. It's a great deal on a Stone Rain, which also costs 3 mana. Don't love the sword here, but it is what it is. I think this time around I am ghost quartering because I'm on the draw and I can't really get ahead. The thing about doing this last turn is I can actually get ahead this time. I could actually get ahead last time. Here I can't, so. Here I'm definitely showing my weakness by exposing by playing the canopy. Obviously that this is a terrible land to be playing right now, so. Stupid indestructible dude. Stupid and sexy Heliod. So probably what's gonna happen here is my opponent's just going to, yeah, they just spike feeder and they left off Pinley Heaven. So here we are actually just dead. Because he can even go off. We will need to have double path to exile because of this stupid Vandal Haven. Good old Mexican standoff. Good old Mexican standoff. But still, technically, if my opponent doesn't go for it, we are still not dead, right? If they go for it, we will lose because of the Pendle Haven again. But as things currently stand, we are technically not dead. And there you go. Then my opponent goes for it. Then I can do this. Oh no, they activated response and now I pass this. Sweet. We navigate ourselves into not losing to to infinite life. Awesome. We're still super far behind, but we did not lose to infinite life. My opponent says you're not Scooby-Doo Infinite. I'm like, what infinite life? I think this was well played. I don't think it's gonna matter. But bottom line, it's not going to matter because my opponent is going to be able to beat me down with some massive creatures here. So I ultimately don't think it's gonna be too relevant, but it was cool that we managed to that we put ourselves in a situation to not just like straight up lose, you know. I mean, if they keep going off on this Arbor Elf, so we would have to top deck an Apparition. If we top deck Apparition, we are maybe in it. Not by too much. This deck is just so fucking good, man. So I think that the line here is we gain 4. I guess we can technically make it 4-4. Let's make it 4-4, which lines up well against the Conclave Mentor. And next turn we have to top deck any untapped land that allows us to company. And if we company into some very good stuff, if we Coco into the Nutso, okay. Well, going on a 1, so here's our chance to Coco into the Nutso. And again, there's stuff that we can find main phase, so main phase company is better here. All right. Knight of Autumn, Skyclave apparition. Okay. Apparition exiles the 5/5. And then we gain 4. So we can Coco again next turn. We're that to a million things here, but we're kind of hanging in there. A Courser would be kind of okay. I think I am in double chump territory. Because if I don't trade with this, like if I attempt to double block here, then the other one is going to become a 4/4 anyway, so it's kind of the same. So now they make a huge dude. Path. Okay, sweet, we didn't get blown out. Sure, so now they're going to have 2 4/4s. I can Raminap. No, we just have to company again, I think. Fuck yeah, man. We're still in this. So we're definitely picking Apparition, and I think we're picking Courser instead of Knight. Although the Knight is a 5/5. The thing is that if I do untap with Courser, we actually can start to get ahead. It just sucks that we can't really exile the Heliod, because there's also a chance that my opponent has a Heliod in their hand. So I don't think that we can exile the Heliod and be okay with it. And now if we get Sword of Feast and Famine going, well, that's big. How do we beat that? How the hell do we beat that? How the hell do we beat that? We just have to draw into Path to Exile. Think about how do you make Reclaimer good, Coccinelle? What makes Reclaimer good? And if you think about that, you can find an answer to your question. So I think the line... I'm assuming my opponent has nothing, because even if they have any creature that has a white pip, that means that the Heliod actually gets in there, so... I think that what I'm doing here is I'm playing Noble Hierarch. And I play Stoneforge. If I Ghost Quarter myself, I get to draw a card, but at the cost of being down 1 mana next turn, so I cannot really get Batterskull going. Yeah, I don't think I can do that. But I don't think Apparition does it there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. We lose to a million things. That is Heliod being lethal. That's also Walking Ballista, which means that we are actually just dead right now. Because 3 damage from the Archangel. Yeah, GG's. We just needed my opponent to miss for a couple of turns. Okay. I mean, we needed to find exactly Path to Exile, so we were not getting there, I guess. I guess Dryad might have been able to do it. That wasn't terrible, though. That wasn't terrible. Like, we obviously got paired against Prowess twice, and we still beat Prowess one of those 2 times. The Heliod matchup seems a little bit on the sketchy side of things, and I'm not particularly concerned about the Infect matchup. Like, the Infect is just not a deck, right? What's up, Andrea? GG's, man. I kind of feel like I want to have... I guess it's just like Llanowar Elves. Is there any other like 1 mana creature that's better than Elves? I'm not sure why you brought in Knight versus you. Utopia Sprawl, and also like I cited out bad cards. Like I cited one of the Raminap. A tracker is pretty awkward against you as well. If you wanna beat Heliod, just play Dayside. I think that card is just so stupidly narrow, though. What if you replace the 8 door with Arbors plus Utopia Sprawl? That's not great in the company deck. And that's still pretty bad against the thingy, right? That's still pretty bad against Prowess. 2-1 you can do the human that taps for white. Yeah, but I'd rather have green mana. Like we're mostly green besides the 4 apparitions. Mostly green. Yeah, Gilded Goose is just bad though. It will be interesting to combine Green-White Reclaimer with the Green-White Company. Yeah, Coccinelle, but it just doesn't work, right? Like what made Green-White Reclaimer playable is Flagstones, and you literally cannot feed Flagstones in this mana base. It is not a coincidence that Flagstone's mana bases are 29 lands, right? You could play like 26 or 27, and at that point your companies are just shit. Like your companies don't do anything. So like why are you even playing companies when you're playing like 27 lands or 28 lands? No, Lana Wealth is better because I have the old border and the original art, so obviously this version is like strictly better than Elvish Mystic. It's just the one of Giver just didn't make too much sense. Basically, in my original list, I had Ranger Captain of Eos, and when I cut the Ranger Captain, then keeping the Giver didn't really make too much sense. I kind of liked what was going on, though. Maybe we can cut Stoneforges. The thing is, I kind of just feel like Stoneforge is the best. Stoneforge is just the best 2-drops for us to be playing, so I don't think that there's too much argument there. Like this is just the best thing to be casting it in these colors at 2 mana. Scavenging Ooze is what this list used to run back in the day. An Ariok Champion is potentially main deckable in the current metagame, honestly. But this is just better in the abstract. Also, I wonder if we should have one of these fetch lands should be a white fetch land. Or whether I should be playing one more basic forest. Because I did run out of stuff to do. I did run out of basics to fetch a couple of times. So I kind of want to play one more. I don't think I can make room for it though. Unless I cut the ghost quarters, and then that makes my Ramina plan a lot worse. It's tough. It's not easy to figure this puzzle out. It's not easy to figure out this puzzle out. Also, I think these are the 2 best equipments to be playing, but maybe sort of Fire and Ice is in the equation. Also, the sideboard is just kind of random, right? Maybe we want the 4th copy of Path. Just over Collector Roof. Maul of the Skyclaves. I don't think Maul is better than these. We also have a lot of stuff to do with our mana, right? Like between Tireless Tracker and between just cracking clues and like casting collected companies, moving equipment around. Is the taxes package as a 3rd? Yeah, I don't think I want a 3rd equipment. That's just too much. Again, like I think that people look at this and they think, oh, you had 30 creatures, you're fine, you can go down to 29. But like, I don't want to see these 29. Like, if I find any of these off of a company, this is gonna count as a whiff more often than not, right? In reality, I only have 21 creatures that I'm looking to company into. Which is not terrible, but it's definitely not great. It's better than Heliod. I honestly don't know how Heliod doesn't whiff half of the time. They have like a bunch of Menadors, and they also have like Walking Ballista and stuff. Just weird. I have 26 hits. Yeah, but like an Arbor Elf is a whiff, right? Like an Arbor Elf is not really a hit. That's kind of the point that I'm trying to make. In reality, you have 22. right? These are the cards that you want to hit. I guess this list has 23, but like whatever. You get the point. This deck's cool though. I was definitely impressed with when we played against blue-white, right? It's not like my opponent's hands were bad, and we even mulliganed to 5 in the first game, and it just didn't matter. Like, we just completely rolled them over. That was very, very cool. I kind of want to make room for a 4th Tireless Tracker too. 4th Tireless Tracker. I don't think I want a 4th Dryad, though it's okay. Like, I wouldn't mind it. We could also just cut Celestial Purge and maybe play an A side there if we really wanted to beat the Heliod deck. I mean, it is a one-off though, right? So like, what am I supposed to do? Just mulligan to the E side? It's just... Do you need 9 mana dorks? Kind of, yeah. Like, the difference in this deck between the matches where you go turn 1 Birds of Paradise, like turn 1 dork into turn 2 3-drop, versus the ones where you go turn 1 pass, turn 2 like Stoneforge or pass. it's a pretty big difference, right? Like, you definitely want to make sure that you have access to your dorks. You can side them out, like we sided a bunch of them out against blue-white control, for example, for game 2. So you can do stuff like that, but I did feel a little bit naked in the Prowess matchup though. So potentially that pass to exile should help. I've also been pretty impressed with Oust. I think that Oust is it's a pretty powerful card. I don't think I would be playing it in any I don't think I would be playing it in any non-control decks though. I think I'd play the 4th Stoneforge over the 9th Dork. Like, Stoneforge is not even that good. I'm not missing staying power. Like, staying power, I don't want more business. Like, I have enough business. And even before I play the 4th Stoneforge, I think I would play the 4th Tracker. But like, I'm not missing business. Like, I that's not the problem. What I don't want to happen is I don't want to die with a bunch of 3-drops in my hand. And the way that we make it so we don't die with a bunch of 3-drops in my hand is to, you know, have mana dorks. So comparing Stoneforge to a mana dork is like, it's obviously that this is a better card. We agree there. It's just, does my deck, the way that it's built, is it better? Is it better for me to like play, like, does it fit my deck better on the average to have 1 more mana dork, or does it make it better to have 1 more Stoneforge? And I think that the answer is definitely 1 more mana dork. Florahedron doesn't ramp me into my 3-drops. This deck really wants to play a 3-drop on turn 2. Florahedron doesn't cut it. It's a cool idea. It's a cool idea, but it just doesn't do what I want it to do. The Mammoth is kind of interesting though. Like, it's kind of cute. Just as a threat that is also a land. The problem is, like, again, like, it's the same problem. Like, I just rather have a Tireless Tracker in that slot, so it's a little bit problematic. We probably can get rid of Gathering Township. As much as it pains me to cut one sweet card. Blast Zone is also interesting, but I don't think it really fits in our deck, unfortunately. I just don't want to get, like, we lost to Infect this league, and I just don't want to get like a little bit too tunnel visioned into, oh, how can I beat the Infect? And it's just like, it just doesn't matter. We don't have to beat Infect because Infect is not a good deck in a Lavadart meta, so. I think this is where I want to be for now. Oops. I think this is where I want to be for now. Like next time I try this deck, which is probably going to be on Thursday, I'm probably going to be running something like this. Can't afford more canopies, too much burn. Well, if I wanted to play a second canopy, I would need to cut one of my lands, and I literally just said how I want more basics, because we did run out of basics very, very quickly. And running out of fetchables is kind of a disaster, so we could play another canopy in place of a basic forest. I don't think I want to do it. We are definitely a little bit on the short side in terms of white sources. We got 13 white sources. 14. Okay, it's not that bad. Yeah, it's not that terrible. 14 white sources on a bunch of green sources. $17 green sources. Okay, yeah, I think this is fine. Yeah, I think this is cool. This is definitely an interesting strategy to be exploring right now, and it's definitely underexplored. As in, I don't think anybody has tried to to bring back this archetype, not that I've seen at least. So maybe I'll give it a shot for like a couple of streams, try to figure out if I can make things work out. But yeah, I did enjoy this deck a lot back in the day when it was good, or when it was playable, should be more accurate. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I will see you in the next stream. Bye bye.